ചാക്കോ എന്താ നിങ്ങൾ പേര്
ഇവർക്ക് ഞാൻ
Good morning, participants. We'll be starting the session in a while.
Yeah, good morning, Deekshita ma'am. I hope we can start off.
Yes, sir. We'll begin. As human beings, we tend to focus more on the physical and material aspects of life than spiritual issues. We are so engrossed in the former that we barely find the time to think about the latter. But it is essential to know that we can only find unconditional happiness and peace if we enrich our inner spiritual lives. Similarly, we rarely pay heed to spirituality at work, neglecting it and giving little or no importance to finding meaning at work. A very wonderful and warm morning to one and all present. I am Dikshita Gujarkar, Assistant Professor. On the behalf of Dayananda Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce, would like to welcome all the principals, deans, HODs, faculties, and students from various departments of Dayananda Sagar institutions to the expert session on workplace spirituality organized by the Dayananda Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce in association with the Humanities Council of Dayananda Sagar institutions. Now, I would like to introduce and welcome Professor Rekha MP, the session's resource person. Mrs. Rekha MP, Assistant Professor who has an academic experience of 16 years and an industrial experience of 3 years, has been working in Dayananda Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce for the past 16 years. She is a dedicated, resourceful, and goal-driven professional educator with a solid commitment to the academic growth and development of every student in the class. She has efficiently guided UG and PG students through their project work with innovative ideas for project work as a part of their curriculum. Since 2007, ma'am has co-authored management and commerce textbooks for the undergraduate students of BBA BCom under Bangalore University, Tumkur University, and Bangalore Central University. Her books are among the list of recommended books in the Bangalore University syllabus. She has completed her post-graduation with Masters of Business Administration from Bangalore University with a dual specialization in HR and marketing, and has pursued MPhil from Dr. Abdul Kalam University, Indore. Ma'am has also completed her 5 MOOC programs under NPTEL and SWAYAM. Currently, she is pursuing her PhD at Jain University. Ma'am is an academic coordinator since 2010. She has also presented several papers in both national and international conferences in the area of women empowerment, self-employment, and consumer behavior. She keeps updating herself with the latest knowledge in her discipline and likes to interact with students on contemporary issues and topics. Ma'am has written book chapters on women and untapped talent. She's passionate about her work, sets realistic goals, and displays professionalism in her undertakings. Professor Rekha has served the institution by actively initiating as in charge of several committees like live projects, management clubs, internal tests, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. Her strong points are her positive attitude, dedication, and commitment to her students. She is paper setter for several deemed universities in UG program. Ma'am has coordinated with AIMA in conducting an online MBA program for employees of Piramal Enterprises Limited, Hyderabad, Telangana. Her placid and sagacious nature enables students to approach her wholeheartedly. It is a pleasure to welcome you, ma'am. You can take over the session now. Thank you.
Thank you, Dikshita. Let me just present my PPT. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Thank you. Good morning to all the eminent dignitaries present here all the professors and the colleagues of DSI, and all my young students gathered here.
Visible.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. And all the professors and colleagues of DSI and all the young students gathered here from various campuses of DSI. I, Rekha MP, Assistant Professor at Dayanand Sagar College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Kumaraswamy Layout, Campus 1. I'm here to speak about the topic workplace spirituality. If you ask me whether this is a contemporary concept, well, it is not, as it has been present from the period of Socrates and Aristotle. If we go back to the ages of Chanakya or the Vedic period, or into the periods of kings like Ashoka or Shivaji, we can understand this aspect as they were the kings who ruled with a lot of accomplishments by keeping their subjects happy. That is, they focused on holding a happy environment. Although the concept found its existence for a long time, it has not got its due recognition and wide acceptance. There are a lot of research activities of the recent past being conducted in the field of workplace spirituality, which is a HR-oriented topic. This topic focuses on how spirituality can help in attaining work goals, organizational goals, and attaining productivity at its best without ignoring employee upliftment. Before immersing ourselves into the topic of workplace spirituality, let me take you to first know what this workplace spirituality means. To understand workplace spirituality, we need to understand what is not workplace spirituality. Workplace spirituality is not about any of the religious practice, God, or any form of theology. So, what exactly is workplace spirituality? Workplace spirituality is the belief that an organization carries within it that its people have an inner life and that they must find meaning in their work, and such work must take place in the context of the community welfare. Professor Duchamp, who was the first to quote the term workplace spirituality in the field of research, quotes that employees have an inner life that nourishes and is nourished by meaningful work. Now let us look into today's workplace environment. It can be viewed in two perspectives: organizational and individual perspectives. From the organizational perspective, it is a place to achieve economic goals, that is, to earn profits, to increase market share, as well as increase its brand value. Whereas in the individual point of view, it is about earning a better income, promotion, identity, recognition, fame, and creating a personal brand. Hence to say, in the contemporary world of today, everyone is so busy that everyone is focusing on the profit and are always on the road of growth of the business and never thinking about anything else. So gathering from this concept, today we can see that life of a person is more mechanical in nature. That is what that you are looking into the slide. Man has become more machine-like. It is controlled by a hierarchical structure that is there as a part of the organization, and we are always the financial dependency, money being the center of every individual's mindset, which says that we are moving away from value-driven actions and are always action-oriented and with economic motives. On the flip side, we are ignoring the values, ignoring the basic concept of the society, and ignoring the basic purpose why we are living. Dear friends, today the pandemic that we are facing can also be termed as one such outcome of certain behavior. Today we talk about ourselves from the business point of view, and the concept of today is nothing but making an individual define his identity through the employee ID or the PMID, personal meeting ID, which we today see in our class schedules that defines us, haven't we? In total, a mechanical machine that we have become, and we have been employed by the organization from the point of view of return on investment. All this leads us towards understanding that the world has become materialistic by nature. Dear friends, extent is okay, but it should not be everything, as it throws away the basic value driven actions from us. It takes away humanity from us. We are today running after we are running away actually from the value driven actions of the society. We are always running with a money in the mindset. Man wants some shortcuts that can fetch him good monetary returns. One such inhumane activity that all of us witnessed in the recent second wave of COVID-19 is the bed blocking mafia. After the remdesivir medicine mafia, oxygen cylinder mafia, the new low running mafia was the bed blocking. All to make maximum monetary benefit. Not indulging much into this context of the topic, all I wanted to highlight here is greed, how man has become money minded and how we have turned ourselves to be. Taking my presentation further, the response to such a scenario is what we see in this slide. There is an excessive past and future anticipation and always engaged in unfulfilled longing leading to a very stress-driven life. We see in the slide a man who is overloaded with responsibility is frustrated and stressed out. This is the outcome of the present contemporary world. We are overburdened with actions which we are taking. We are overburdened with the responsibility that we are taking. In the process, we are not bothered about real life conditions, real life wins of the situation. We are always running after money, leading us to a very stressed lifestyle. Let us now look into the 4 important pillars of life. Let us see how these 4 pillars together give interactions, the interrelationship, and how spirituality at workplace can play a significant role in taking care of them. The first pillar being physical, which talks about the body. Now, the body, when we are overstressed with work and influenced by cosmopolitan lifestyle, gets affected and hence gives frequent headaches, infection, muscular twists, breathlessness, etc. Because we are not machines, but human bodies. So if we are biting into so much responsibility which cannot be taken at once, it has a toll on our health, which the body shows through our certain signs. The second pillar is the emotional aspect, which is also influenced by the outcome of modern aspect of lifestyle and organizational environment. When a person is emotionally stressed, it is made visible through the loss of confidence, irritability, depression, alienation, and apprehensions. According to American Psychological Association, it clearly states work-related stress has negative impacts on the physical and mental health, which in turn negatively impacts individual performance and overall organizational productivity. The next pillar is our mind. Our mind is always worrying about strategies that we need to execute to find better ways of outperforming our expectations. Sometimes our judgments are impaired, and sometimes it is good. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but our mind is always at work, which is not a good sign because every human mind needs to rest and rejuvenate. When our mind is restless, it is shown in the form of nightmares, negative thoughts, sometimes taking hasty decisions which hamper our mind. For now, we have spoken about 3 pillars: the body, affected by a stressful life, the emotional health, which is affected by the organizational environment, excuse me, and mind, which is always engaged in work-related tasks. Overall, impact of all these 3 pillars will have a major influence on the behavior of an individual at work, which is exhibited by being accident-prone, by showing anger, hostility, bossism, threatening, or sometimes complete seclusion. Against this backdrop, we need spirituality to protect and safeguard all these four pillars of human life. In the yesteryears, spirituality was ignored because spirituality was then accepted as something connected to religion, and people had a different parameter about spirituality, that is, prayers or rituals associated with religion. But there is a deep meaning to the word spirituality, and somewhere different from religion. Here we are transforming ourselves. We are changing our thought process. We are going to take positive thoughts and positivity into our work style. So let's look into why spirituality in workplace. Individuals and organizations can see work as an opportunity to grow and to contribute to society in a meaningful way. It leads to the values and management by objectives. When we talk of spirituality, practicing spirituality at workplace will change our outlook towards work. That is, we take work as an opportunity where we can learn and grow in a meaningful way. There is less stress, and there develops a joy within us to complete the work given to us. And we are transformed in such a way that we start enjoying the work. We start taking work as it comes and start thinking that it is the smallest contribution that we are doing to our organization towards achieving organizational goals. So basically, whatever we do or we are engaged and whatever decisions we take are all based on values, and again, these values are moral values which are acceptable by the society and which signifies the goodness and the badness of the act, the rightness and the wrongness of the act. Of course, when we practice spirituality, we can never go on a wrong way. We will never practice something which is not good and detrimental for the societal point of view. So we will engage in such activities which are going to benefit the society at large. Hence, achieving a kind of totalitarianism that is a result of practicing spirituality. In the further slide, we see that practicing spirituality at workplace brings job satisfaction, as the individuals of the workplace would have achieved the inner meaning to what he or she is performing, and he or she is at that state of complete satisfaction in what he or she does. The reason is every person now would be competing with oneself towards improvisation of one's holistic self and not to prove one's greatness to others or feel the jealousy of others' growth. All this in turn would lead the organization to move towards attaining better job performance and hence leading together towards a point of success. At this point, I would want to say one story that mentions anti-materialism, which is going to be attained when we practice spirituality. This is not to break themselves away from the rat race of running after money and fame, but to create individual identity in doing things that gives us immense happiness and which is for the benefit of the society at large. Now let us look into the story. Here goes the story. Once a tourist came to India and went to meet a monk who was living in a small cottage. He found there that there was no bedsheet and a lantern in his room. The tourist asked Swamiji, "Where is your furniture?" The monk says, "Where is yours?" The tourist simply replies, "I'm just a visitor." The monk smiles at the tourist and calmly replies, "So am I." This kind of a story is a message to all of us, including the students who are present here, to learn that materialism is not everything, but it is something. And hence, running behind achieving this something, thinking that it is everything, we tend to lose some things which is everything, and that is irrecoverable. So whenever we talk of materialism, let us always remember that we are all perishable human beings first, and this pandemic has shown us the same. For instance, just a few weeks back, if you look into the number of human bodies that we saw being cremated in a mass fire, shows where we stand. We are nothing. We come empty handed and we go empty handed. We must not carry on from the money perspective, as we are all tourists here. We will all complete our journey one day and we are going to go back. We came from the environment and we will be merged into the environment. We got nothing when we were born. We take nothing when we are gone. We turn into ashes, and this is a beautiful message which the story tells us, that we must never be going after materialistic aspects. We must practice spirituality at large, because there are so many benefits and so many different outcomes after practicing spirituality, which is good not only for the organization but the individual point of view. According to the sayings of Swami Vivekananda, all the power lies in you. Such a beautiful message, which says that it is a thought process that has impacted and influenced by spiritual practice, which one must practice because all the power lies within us and nothing beyond us. We have understood ourselves as a way of self-actualization. We need to understand ourselves in the way of self-actualization. In fact, all of you would be remembering this, that self-actualization is the last stage that is mentioned in Maslow's hierarchical theory. It is in this stage that we start to understand ourselves, which awakens us in terms of self-actualization. So there is nothing impossible in this world in terms of achievement. It all depends on the way we look at it. I would like to quote these words from Bhagavad Gita. Whatever happens is for the good. Whatever is happening is for the good. And whatever is going to happen is also for the good. For an organization and employee, if they inculcate this kind of a practice and thinking, it would help both from the perspective of seeing the success in the days to come and for longer sustainability. In terms of understanding in this backdrop, let us look into the two aspects of workplace spirituality and human resource management. We need to understand when we transform the human resource towards positive thinking, it will yield a result in integrity, harmony, and teamwork among its people, which leads the organization towards achieving its success. Let us now take a deep look into the interaction and interrelation of these two aspects. This urges the researcher in business and management to question how spirituality is understood and practiced in work organizations. Spirituality in an organization helps people to do work in a very creative manner, work together with more integrity, and united as a team. The insightfulness, the development of rules, and overcoming of the fear of failure. We can say practicing spirituality at workplace will act as a solution to overcome such fears or timid thoughts such as, I will not be able to do this, I will not be able to do that. Results of the current study suggest that spirituality in the organization can play an important role in effectively managing people in the organization. This means to say that an organization practicing spirituality shall inculcate within them the culture of openness, where both the superior and the subordinate work together as a team. There is no hierarchical breakups. There shall not be any scope for egotistical problems. Further, organizational spirituality also induces in every individual mindset that workplace is a center to grow and an opportunity to contribute towards something substantial, as we must give back what is taken from the society. And it is through the workplace that we can accomplish the purpose. Thus, spirituality at workplace helps individuals to improve their outlook. This slide here shows how spirituality in the workplace can make the work environment a better place. After all, it is clear that a good part of our day is spent in our work with our teammates. A happy work environment is most essential, as this part of the day will carry a spillover effect on the latter part of the day, both emotionally and physically. If the first three-fourths of the day that is spent at the workplace goes well, the remaining part of our day shall go smoothly with less mental and physical strain. Spirituality thereby brings in workplace employee well-being, leading to a sense of purpose and meaning, which builds a sense of community and interconnectedness. Overall, positively leading to increased productivity and performance. That is what the slide is clearly indicating to us. There is also many empirical studies in this context, and they say that it is very difficult to manage people otherwise. But if we practice spirituality, it becomes easy for us to understand people and manage them. Understanding people is most important. This states very clearly that spirituality helps to correct oneself, that is, the way one thinks, the way one works, the way one carries on the organizational activity. Earlier, an individual would be a fault finder, but after practicing spirituality, one tries to identify the fault in oneself and starts to correct oneself first before moving towards others. Spirituality in this context of work is increasing and gaining importance of business not only in India but across the globe. By looking at the slide, we get to know organizations like Wipro, Tata's, and Dabur have already adopted workplace spirituality. In fact, in Thailand, when I read through few journals and articles, I get to see that there is a nationwide practice of this particular workplace spirituality. Now, in the context, let me move to Tata's. In one such article that I happened to read in Sage Journal on Tata's as a sustainable enterprise, the causal role of workplace spirituality, and in this book, the Tatas, How Family Built a Nation, Business and a Nation, clearly states the role of spiritual family values in shaping Tata as a sustainable business. Jamshedji Nusratwanji Tata, the founder of Tata Groups, was a trained Parsi priest, which was clearly mentioned in the book, who was greatly influenced by the Zoroastrian principle, Kumta or good thoughts, Kukta or good words, and Kubrasta or good deeds towards others. Since its founding in 1868, the Tata leadership legacy has persistently followed these watchwords of the Zoroastrian faith. This book also mentions the extent to which workplace spirituality and the literature posits that the role of spiritual and religious values is vital for any organization and for any individual to prosper. Let me stress on these, dear friends, that the role of spiritual and religious value is vital for organizations and individuals to grow. So let us not feel that here my words or spirituality at workplace means bringing religion to work. This takes us to the next slide. Will workplace spirituality at workplace become a war zone? For a long time, the spiritual component is ignored by the organizations, possibly out of the fear that the workplace will be turned into a religion and it will become a war zone, because we have so much diversity at the workplace. Everyone has their religion, belief, and values. And there is a very simple connotation that is believed as a misnomer that religion and spirituality are one. Although they are one to an extent, there is a slight difference in terms of how you think and how you practice it. It is the outcome of the belief that we need to embed in ourselves, and we start putting those good values and value-driven actions into our work. That is spirituality. So it is wrong myth that if we practice spirituality, the organization will turn to a war zone. There will be harassment, there will be bullying. All these are misnomers. This is not right, as we are not focusing on the fights but on resolving them. And spirituality helps in resolving these kind of problems in us. It is the religious or spiritual values we must carry and not the religion. In fact, if we see, all religion ultimately leads us towards building moral values and respecting our fellow beings and being a source of support to each other, isn't it? The rationale behind workplace spirituality. Any organization at times faces employees' misbehavior. This can carry a misalignment of the company's values, which could jeopardize any organization's success. There is a strong conviction that if the people start in their way, that is, they start thinking in an individualistic perspective and stop thinking about corporate values, this would hamper the organization's goals and its success. This is one reason why companies practice spirituality in the workplace. That is to say, such organization makes the employee understand that they are a part of the organization, and without them, an organization cannot foresee its success. So it is essential the organization should first take the confidence of its employee. They should be made feel. It is not just about making the employee feel. They should be accepted that employee is a pillar and force for an organization's success, and it should be openly accepted. At the same time, make them understand that organization shall also take care of their individualistic goals, and it must be practiced too. The categorization of individualism and universalism is only learned through spiritualism. Spirituality at the workplace makes the employee understand that there is nothing wrong in being individualistic, but at the same time, the employee is made to understand that it is much better if we look at people at large. That is, we can enjoy the essence of success when it is achieved as a team. Don't you think? This means to say that when organization loses something, it takes the blame on itself. But when an organization wins, it gives the complete credit and success to its employees. Several types of research have shown that work environment could become more futile with elements such as materialism, completion, distrust, insecurity, disrespect, suspicion, corruption, grapevine communication, and dishonesty, which are contrary to the company's values. By practicing spirituality, all this could be avoided, and people will start thinking themselves again, which is beyond one's comprehension. That is, larger selves of ourselves and not as a mere individual. Research further says that it is always the interpretation that makes everyone believe that an organization's value is not in alignment with individual value, and hence a particular organization is portrayed to be not good. It is all because of the human tendency, the human who are working in the organization. It is caused by their selfishness or greediness. All this can be removed if an organization inculcates workplace spirituality. Let us look into the importance of workplace spirituality in the educational sector. Educational institutions are social places where people work with their epitomistic tradition, disciplinary culture, local institutional guidance, and national tradition. In the globalized world, the pace of educational system is changing from monolithic symbols of cultural excellence to dynamic and coping towers, ivory towers of knowledge management. These organizations are helping to build interpersonal relationship and social capital in society. In India, ancient Guru Shishya Parampara has reduced with the advent and the introduction of Lord Macaulay's educational reforms. Currently, educators are playing a vital role in the formulation and implementation of the modern education system. Workplace factors like reward system, learning opportunities, or decision autonomy are largely contributing to teachers' commitment and their meaningful contribution to academic success. Teaching is a noble profession with a lot of obligations. Teaching is one of the most important and noticeable profession in the world. All of the professions of the society have their roots in the profession of teaching. A teacher is a pillar of the educational system and the strength of any nation. He or she is a model and is consciously imitated. The teacher develops performance style characteristics to students' way of relating to the world, perceptually as well as cognitively, and plays an imperative role in building their personality. Any person is therefore likely to act in a way that maximizes the use of his aptitude. Teachers' workplace situations are determining the teacher's success in their profession. Teaching is a profession. As a profession, if you see, it is a calling for most teachers. The self-image of the teacher always remains at the center with strong belief about the work. This sense of calling leads the teacher to unbelievable things in adverse situations for the betterment of learners. A teacher's positive attitude towards teaching and higher aspiration levels determines the student's positive perception of the environment. It is universally recognized that a teacher's instructional performance plays a key role in the student's learning and academic achievement. Previous research indicates that many factors such as aptitudes, job attitudes, subject mastery, teaching methodology, personal characteristics, classroom environment, general mental ability, personality, and relation with the students influence the teacher's job performance. Similarly, educational research literature indicates the teacher's job satisfaction as one of the most important factors. Teachers' job satisfaction has become increasingly urgent in the current educational context because teacher is dealing with the future of the community or society in which he or she operates. Hence, the necessity for the teaching community to accept the fact that their task needs to be looked from the macro perspective of building tomorrow's nation. During the time of pandemic, the role of teacher have played towards educating their students and productively keeping the young minds engaged along with maintaining personal, emotional, and mental balance is no less than a COVID warrior's job. The role of teacher during the COVID-19. Times changed, the epidemiological impact was so high that it forced the whole world to change. So were the educational institutions. COVID-19 forced millions of people to sit at home, and over 1.2 billion students were not able to see their educational institutions. As explained above, the pandemic drama has made the learning systems change so drastically that it made educational center go into e-learning methods across the world. Teacher became digital specialists. Due to the concern of coronavirus outbreak, there was an urgency to close the schools and colleges and a need to impart education through online platforms. Some teachers were not used to handling cameras at all, and they were not exposed to remote teaching jobs. But we are teachers and we can change and face any hard situations anyway as it comes. We prepared ourselves for the digital classrooms. We had to ensure that we are thoroughly familiar with the necessary tools. We tried our best to become internet savvy. Our classrooms were converted into Zoom platforms, Microsoft Teams, or Google platforms. Even evaluation of assignments and conducting assignments through online mode also posed a lot of challenge. But today, we face all this challenge and they are also by holding something called as a work-life balance. Today, a teacher faces a lot of challenge in holding work-life balance. Unlike in the past, the current situation has compelled the teacher to do something different. Until the late 2019 academic year, we would not forget the morning rush to college, spending almost whole the day there and rushing back home to complete the household chores. Moreover, many among us have young kids and adults also to take care as well. Apart from all this, today a teacher needs to involve themselves in administrative tasks too. A teacher needs to organize and conduct events. She is expected to attend conferences, seminars, write articles, and also cannot neglect on their research work. It is quite clear and simple to understand the amount of stress as a teacher one would be undergoing. This whole process results in stress and conscious burnout. This proposes two approaches for handling such situation. Educational institution should be a better workplace for both teachers and students. Teachers always keep in mind their boundaries and limitations. The first approach deals with work environment, work situation, while the second approach deals with finding meaningful work at the workplace. These two approaches, the educational institution to become a better place and the teachers keeping in their mind the boundaries and limitation, can be achieved through workplace spirituality. Workplace spirituality in educational institution is a must as it results in higher teachers' commitment and well-being and also to cope with job burnout. Let us move on towards understanding the principles of workplace spirituality. Let us now look into the first principle, Nishkama Karma from Bhagavad Gita. The verse of Bhagavad Gita, Karmarni Vadikaraste, Ma Phaleshu Kadachana, Ma Karma Phaler Bhutho Ma, Te Samgotsva Karmani, which means working for the sake of work, generating excellence for its own sake. If we are always calculating the date of promotion, the hike in salary, or the rate of commission before putting our efforts, then such work is not detached. This principle of Nishkama Karma from Bhagavad Gita says, do your work, but don't expect the results immediately. If we keep on doing our work, it is good for the organization as well as towards individuals' mind. This is not for the spiritual. This is one of the spiritual practice which is going to have a positive effect on the mindset as well as the performance, profitability, and overall wellness of the organization. That we must never think about results, but one must be engaged in completely fulfilling their responsibility as a whole. One must not be worried too much about the result. So by worrying too much about the result, what is going to happen is we focus on the thinking that doing our work, focusing on our responsibility and attaining work-life balance. But if we start thinking that what I have done and I have been doing and I have not been getting any monetary reward or I have not been getting any kind of a recognition from the organization, such thinking will fill within us a kind of a negativity. This, if it continues for a longer run, it can have a negative impact on our overall system. So this must not be practiced, and hence we must focus on fulfilling the responsibility that is entrusted upon us. And this would yield better results in the upcoming days. The second principle of spirituality are the three C's: the connection, compassion, and contribution. The first C is connection, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudha here means the earth. Eva Kutumbakam, that is the family. This is to say, we must consider ourselves as a part of the larger self, and we must consider the whole world as our family, which is the first C of spirituality. The second C is compassion. Compassion means we must always be compassionate towards our fellow animal and plant kingdom. We must not jeopardize or do any harm to them for the sake of fun. Leading to the third C, that is contribution. Contribution to the society through indulging in ISR. Here, ISR connotes individual social responsibility and not the usual abbreviation of institutional social responsibility. Every individual needs to contribute or do a part of his contribution by being genuine and sincere to what is the responsibility entrusted upon him or her. That is nothing much simpler than this, if you ask me. So these are the three beautiful concepts of spirituality. If we practice these at work, it will have a good effect on oneself and also on the wellness of the organization. We must be having connection with the people at large. We must always think primarily for benefit of the people at large, because the whole world is our family, that is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Then one must be compassionate about plant and animals, that is the flora and the fauna. Next, we must contribute to the welfare of the society, because we are here because of the society, and it is our duty and responsibility to give back to the society what we have taken. Leading to the next principle of spirituality, that is trusteeship, as put forward by Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi says nature provides enough to satisfy man's need, but not his greed. So we must not focus on inclusive growth. The growth should be individual whole. That is, we must not do something in a very sustainable manner. We must do something in a very sustainable manner. If we are using the resources of the organization and if we are using the sources of the society at large, we can do it. But we must keep enough for the future generations too. If we have these three perspectives in mind, then we are already practicing workplace spirituality. The fourth principle is vertical and horizontal spirituality. Let us have a look into it. Virtuous spirituality, to realize the divine plan and to recognize the nature of our existence. It speaks more of our relationship with the source of being for the understanding of life experiences on the basis for coping with illness, pain, suffering, etc. Which clearly says we have been sent to this earth with a purpose. There are certain responsibilities that has been shouldered upon us. We need to complete that. We need to accomplish that. That is where connecting to vertical spirituality means. The divine self has sent us here with a reason, and we need to fulfill that. Facing all kind of pain, suffering and illness, undeterrently we should keep on moving towards achieving for what is the purpose we are into. The horizontal spirituality, it says, adapting the divine potential in the real with others, the basis of personal lifestyle or life story. It means to say that a good thinking about others, we should not have that kind of a negative thought or cause kind of a harm to others. It should always be towards supporting each other. Said and done, today you or me will die. But what remains is a history, or what remains is what we have done to the society. Our fame, our property, or whatever the wealth we have earned, or the positions that we have taken, all becomes a thing of memory, and it lasts only for a short duration. What lasts for long is what you have done for others and how you have been of a support to one's life. It could be one person or it could be many in number. And in fact, I feel proud. Being in this noble profession, we have seen those days where few of our students who come back to us to tell the achievements that they have led in their life. That shows somewhere we have done something for the betterment of the society. That is what is horizontal spirituality talking about. So this is again practicing of horizontal and vertical spirituality, which is good for the wellness of the organization. Let us look into the fifth principle of spirituality and the last principle, stating that it is corporate governance. Corporate governance is the code or the rules according to which a company is governed. It is a system by which the business organizations are directed and controlled. So it decides the character of the organization, it directs on the organization's values, it directs on the relationship with its customers, employees, communities, and shareholders. So the corporate governance is at the heart of spirituality, that we must never do anything wrong in terms of character, in terms of values, in terms of relationship, which we need to keep with the associates, who could be our customers, who could be our employees, who could be our community, or who could be our shareholders. Overall, a holistic approach must be practiced at the workplace. So we have seen the basic insights of what does spirituality mean, what the workplace means, and what is the interrelationship between the spirituality and workplace, and we have also understood the principles of workplace spirituality. So definitely there is some benefits we can see that an organization at large gets of workplace spirituality. Now, it all narrows down to one thing, what is the way to incorporate spirituality at work? As mentioned earlier, most of us spend the majority of our waking hours at work. If if we are spiritually inclined person, it only makes sense that we would want to incorporate the same ideas that we apply in our personal life into our work life as well. There are plenty of ways we can remain professional while still staying true to our values, and spirituality at work is one such means of doing. Now, how to implement spirituality? Our spirituality often lies at the core of everything that we often do. Commitment to our value system, and it is critical to nurture the value system both in our private and in the workplace. As people become busier and our lives become even more work centric, it is more important than ever to carry our spirituality in the workplace. Following are some of the ways how to incorporate spirituality in the workplace. First, connect our work to the value system. When looking for a job, especially for the youngsters who are present here, all the students, when you're looking for a job, look for jobs in companies whose core values align with yours. Pay attention to what the organization stands for, whom they are helping, and how they are treating the people both inside and outside the organization. Know exactly what you are getting into before you accept the job. Look at their websites, annual reports, what is their mission statement, their vision for the company, and what is their core values. Are the company's actions keeping with the values that they preach? One needs to look into this. Don't just take a job just because it is paying you high or it has a lot of benefits. These sort of jobs may not align with our value system, and we may find it difficult later to develop any sort of workplace spirituality. Always we need to look into jobs that hold meaning to us, that which we have a passion for. By doing so, we start enjoying the work and we would naturally involve more into our work process. Assuming we have no choice or the option to pursue our passion, still we need to make sure that the job that we take up to make that work much more meaningful and beautiful by nature. In a very simple sense, the work we do needs to benefit the society, even if it is in small portions. That is to say, as per the principles of spirituality, it says to do something that helps one to grow from within and to be of support to others too. And that is the best possible way to contribute to the society and thereby leave a memory behind or leave a past behind where the day we are no more existing, people shall cherish the contribution or the support that we did for the welfare of others. So, if we are a leader or a head, we need to perform our job with utmost concern, taking into account the respect for the position that one holds and the expectation from the position, which must be connected with genuine interest, utmost dignity, and with a well-disciplined manner, as there would be many who can be influenced positively and negatively in the way how we conduct ourselves at work. So, clearly stressing on to the point that we need to connect our work with the value system. Do not do your job for the sake of doing it, but do it in the right way. Even if it is a small task that is assigned to us, do it with the complete sincerity and dedication, because it will be of some use to somebody and it will have a kind of a small impact on somebody's life or somebody's way of thinking. So do it with sincerity. Otherwise, we will be passing a negativity to others also. Leading us to the next one, look at things positively. Learn to look. We need to let go whatever the negativity that at work that comes. Whether it is criticism from a colleague or a boss or people complaining about their job that they are doing or dealing with a disgruntled boss. Try to look for the positivity present there. If we can take frustrating situation and bring light to them, we will be better at our job. And we will treat around us also, people around us too, much better. Let us try to use positive words when we talk about the situation. Analyze why it is making us feel in a certain way and then move from it. We must not cling on to the negativity that has happened. Yes, it is workplace. Negativity is bound to occur. Sometimes criticism will happen, but it should be taken from a sportive point of view, but not to be taken into from the personal point of view that leading to a grudge between the people or the creating a kind of hostility in the environment. This has to be let go and move further. The next one, treat others well. It is a simple thing that is often overlooked in the workplace. Treat others how we would like to be treated. Say please, thank you, well done, you have been a great support for me. Tell these words to the people and appreciate the work that they do. Very simple compliments. Bringing this kind of kindness into the work can be contagious. Not only it will help us to become more positive, it will also allow others also to think positively and spread joy among others. Take some time for yourself. Have some moments of silence throughout the day. This means putting some headphones in for a few moments or taking a walk outside the campus or within the campus to clear our head, or just sitting in our desktop close up with the eyes closed for a few moments in the form of meditation or a prayer, or just stand near to the window and view to the site over. All these are ways how we can focus on oneself. Work on incorporating things like meditation, prayer, or mantras in our day-to-day life, especially in our work day, depending on the sort of spirituality we intend to practice. These are things that can be done at our desks without anyone even noticing and not disturbing the work process. They can be quick moments throughout the day that brings us back to our normal self. We feel much better and confident by doing these things. This is what it says. It is always ideal to take some time of ourselves alone. Get to know your co-workers. Who are the people with whom you're working? Could getting to know each other promote a more cohesive environment? Getting to know what's important to those around us can only benefit the process, whether it is work issue or something that is happening in their personal lives. Sometimes people need someone to talk to, as we are all human beings. And if we sense that our co-worker needs someone to talk to, and if we just need to give an ear. The more you learn about your co-worker, the more you will become able to commiserate with them. In turn, emotionally support them and try to convey positive thoughts to them. It is always a human tendency. The moment we feel that there is somebody who's there, at least to listen to us, we feel much better. But in the process, dear friends, let us not make it into a gossip to talk with over others. That is not leading to anything good. Next, leading to being mindful. We need to be mindful, be aware of our actions and how they affect those around us. We need to think twice about what we are saying and the words we are using before we speak up. Take care with our words and actions. Notice how other people react to it. Notice how it can influence others. And also, we need to look into how others in the workplace treat one another and think of the ways how we can improve this. Being mindful of ourselves is one of the most valuable things we can do to bring spirituality at workplace. If we are fully aware of our actions and words, we will make decisions and align with our values. We will be focusing on what to be done before it is already done. We will not be taking hasty decisions. Put people first. When we foster a work environment where we put our colleagues and staff first, we make people feel valued. When people feel valued at work, they work even harder. The workplace is not a place where we can behave as we want. It is a place with diverse kind of people with varied emotions and temperaments. Nurturing relationship with everyone in the organization, especially when we are holding a superior position. This includes employees, suppliers, sometimes even customers from the general angle. When people feel that they are working with someone who cares for them, they would want to stay loyal. This is great for the organization, but it is also just nice to be nice, isn't it? Leading to the next one, find others who feel the same. Finding others in our workplace who share the same belief and values as we do. It is always nice to have someone at work that we can share ideas with. But if we don't find someone comfortable speaking about our spirituality at work, discuss it with your friends who are outside the organization. Ask them how they implement or handle workplace through the spiritual angle without making others around them feel uncomfortable. Next, learn to slow down. Sometimes life can move so fast, we stop paying attention to our individual values. We have always been in situations where we make snap decisions, say anything as such, although we do not mean, or do activities or actions in a way that later on we become not so proud of. We need to slow down. We can take care in every action that we do, every decision that we make, and every word that we speak. Remember that all have repercussions. That means all the actions or activities we do, there is a kind of a reaction that can happen. Take on one thing at a time instead of trying to multitask. Even when we feel, or even when it feels it is impossible to slow down, simply let us take a moment and step back from the situation. Take a few deep breaths. Slowing down is easier than we think. So we need to learn to slow down first. Let us not be in a hurry to make hasty decision. Think, analyze the situation, and then our brain starts working, giving 100% to the task. When we do something in haste, our involvement will be only 10% of doing one task and the other task. So it is always focused. Take multi-responsibility, but when doing one task, involved in doing completeness of that task, then move to the other. It doesn't mean that you should not take responsibility. Today, organization wants us to take multi-responsibility. It is essential. We need to become multi-skilled. But that doesn't mean that at one time itself all the tasks need to be accomplished. No, it cannot happen because we are human beings. Errors are bound to occur. So these errors should not lead us should not become a major disaster for the organization and individual self. So what you need to do, once we take responsibility, focus on one task at a time. Complete that task and then focus on the other. So slowing down is very much essential in certain situations. Last one, take stock regularly. At the end of each week, each month, or even just the end of the day, think about how you have added more improvisation to your daily life. Think about your actions that you have done over the period of time and reflect on whether they were the right ones. Learn from those reflections that were not so good and learn from those reflections that were good and take that forward to try to improve. At the end of the day, look into ourselves whether our conscience is clear. Are we able to retire our day with a thought that I have done something good for the betterment of my own self or my inner self, and I have been a support to someone, if not for everyone. So at least retire the day with the feeling that I have not done something that has caused or is going to cause harm to someone, and that I have completed the task that is entrusted upon me with complete involvement and dedication. So one thing that we need to do is, whether by action or words spoken, we must always do things that is in line with our value system. Never do something which is going to cause harm to one's own self and on others. No one is perfect. All of us know about this. But we are all learning. how to practice a value system in different real life situation. It is very easy to think about how we will react to a certain situation, but reality is usually very different. So taking stock regularly how we are applying our values to a practice of spirituality at work is most important, because one of the important principles to remember, the team should be working towards supporting each other in integrity. This is what spirituality does. So the workplace automatically, that's why I gave the example, Tata's what and all they have gone through from the period 1868 they were existing, even today that they are surviving or their sustainability is there. That clearly shows the success of being, spiritual at workplace, what it leads us towards. It will lead to the betterment of the society. It will lead to the kind of thinking that we should do something for growth of each other and improvisation. So organization will also benefit in the process. I hope I answered the question.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one last question.
Yeah.
What has promoted for the emergence of workplace spirituality?
Yes. See, the current lifestyle has been the main reason why it has led to workplace spirituality. There is a lot of greed, there is a lot of jealousy, there is always that the urge to outprove oneself. All this has led to a situation that, improvisation of the profits be it, or money minded situation. If you go through what happens, it leads to certain unhealthy situations. But when we go a little bit slow down, there is nothing that is going to be of loss. We will gain slowly and steadily. We can reach out. There is a lot of stories, moral stories also behind it. Slow and steady still wins the race. So looking from that angle, systematically, steadily go step by step. If failures come, take it gradually, but still go ahead. Do not rush towards reaching so many things at one stage. That will lead to loss. So workplace spirituality in that manner, that is the reason why it is of importance in today's situation, especially taking into account the youth that we are bringing forward. All should know that do not become too materialistic by aspect. You gain 100 things within age of 25 years. I have earned this position that I have won. Ultimately, where? Ultimately, where are we leading towards? What have you done to others? Today, if you are no more existing, maybe your family will cry. Maybe will some few other members will cry who are dear and near ones to you. Later on, nothing is of yours remembered. Only thing that is remembered is when you do something to at least few lives that will be of use. Do not accumulate wealth. It was not of any use. As we saw, this pandemic has clearly shown a lot of lessons we have learned. Life is too short and money is nothing. Only thing is prayers, and we need to do our task. Good deeds will always come. It is like you're gaming. Each time you accumulate a star as you play. So each time you do good deeds, there is some stars that comes into your life. That star will work as you, in the futuristic period of time. Anytime you undergo any loss, you see the stars of use. Sometime the blessings will be of use to you. It will help us in actually, overcoming such hurdles or situation. I hope I have spoken right, Dikshita.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening us and giving us positive views on how important it is to have workplace spirituality and also grow spiritually in our lives. So, thank you again.
Thank you, one and all, for your patient hearing, and I also thank the HODs and our beloved principal for giving me an opportunity here and considering me to be a part of this event to take up this particular topic on workplace spirituality. I think I have done justice to whatever that has been given to me. Thank you, one and all, once again. Thank you, Dikshita.
Thank you, ma'am. So, as we near the close of today's session, I would like to wind up with a small thank you note. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Humanities Council of Dayanand Sagar Institutions for encouraging and providing us with an opportunity to organize the expert session on workplace spirituality. I also want to express my gratitude to all the participants from various departments for participating and attending today's session. Thank you, one and all. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Participants, you can log off from the session. You can sign out from the session. I request all participants to exit from the meeting, please.